Okay, so today I'm in Utah County with Davies Design Build, going through their upcoming parade home here in Orem. And I gotta be honest, this home is absolutely incredible. And I'm standing here with Joel. He's gonna walk through this home with me and tell me what the process involves when you're building luxury here in Utah, but also talk about what people need to think about and consider when choosing to purchase or build new construction in Utah. All right, so today I'm here with Joel with Davies Design Build. They're building this beautiful parade home, and we're just gonna walk around the home today and have a great conversation. Joel, introduce yourself.
I'm Joel, nice to meet you.
Awesome, so we're gonna just have a great conversation around everything that's happening in this home. I think we've got about, 3 weeks left? Perhaps 3 weeks until the parade home or so. It's a tight deadline. This home is on the home stretch. It may not look like that in the video here today, but it is getting awfully close. So when I come back to this home in a few weeks when this home is completed, but also the completed project as well. All right, Joel, what do people need to consider when they're building new construction, especially luxury new construction here in Utah?
But that's a really good question. And I gotta say, I don't envy people for having to make this decision. There's so many builders out there. There's a lot of really good builders. There's also a lot of mediocrity in this marketplace. It's been a very forgiving market for a long time. There's a lot of growth here, but you really have to just be careful. You want to ask around. Obviously, you want to get the reviews. You want to get references. A lot of builders claim to have a lot of attention to detail, but the reality is that not all of them have the same level of attention to detail. And so I feel like it's really important for you to check your references and really just make sure that you found the builder that's the right fit for you, because there may be a builder that's really good for one person and the way their style is and the way they communicate, but not so good for another family. So really just be really careful, check your references. A lot of people often gravitate toward builders that have built something that looks similar to what they like or their inspiration, the things that they've looked at like on Instagram and things like that. A lot of times there are builders who are very, very capable of building the particular style that you want to build, but they may not necessarily have any fresh photos in their photo gallery or, their portfolio. At the end of the day, a really good builder with the right set of plans, a good detailed set of plans, can build whatever style that you want.
So one of the things that sticks out to me, I've walked around this home a little bit with you, but I haven't seen the entire home yet. But you were in my office just last week. We had some good conversations, and it's obvious to me that Joel knows what he's talking about in terms of managing expectations with clients, making sure that they're setting up their clients with the best possible expectations that will absolutely lead to the greatest outcome, which is the desired result of a beautiful home that you can feel good about moving into, that you also had a great experience in building with someone who's competent and a professional that knows what they're doing. And as we've walked through this house and we've had conversations both here and in my office, it's really obvious that he knows what he's talking about. He knows how to manage not just the clients, but also the subcontractors, which for me is one of the most difficult things. So as we walk through this house, I've noticed different details. And I love certain things that I'm seeing in this home that I don't see in $1 million home, perhaps. It's something that you don't see in every home, especially here in Utah. But as luxury homes become more prevalent here in the state, I love seeing more of these cool features. But for example, over here, we have inset face frame cabinetry. This is something that we don't see on most homes. And most cabinet builders in the state just simply don't offer that or do that at a high level. What's your experience with doing these types of cabinets, and why do clients choose them?
So my take on inset face frame cabinetry is that it's somewhat of what we like to say furniture grade cabinetry. Right. It takes more skill. It takes more materials. They tend to be sturdier. They have a little more of a traditional classic look.
It's much less forgiving from a builder's perspective instead of just building a box. You're actually building, like you said, furniture.
Right, and there are a lot of added details that you can do to inset face frame cabinetry as opposed to like a standard Euro or like a box frame cabinet.
Another trend that I've seen, obviously for the last decade or two in the state of Utah, is we do engineered hardwood floors in most installations because it's really forgiving, it's more dimensionally stable. But this parade home has solid walnut floors?
Yes, our technical term is sand and finish, but right. Sand and finish solid walnut floor.
Perfect, yeah. And your client that's purchasing this home gets to make those selections, right?
They do, yeah. And we try and advise the clients on what's going to be best for them. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of really great engineered floors. There's actually engineered floors that are also sand and finish as well.
That's true, yeah.
And those can vary in price pretty dramatically. You can get an engineered floor. an engineered floor isn't necessarily a downgrade from a solid sand and finish, but it really just depends on what you're after, what you're going to do with the home, maybe even down the road if you're planning on remodeling. All those things need to go into that decision, and what you're going to install as far as your floor coverings go.
All right, Joel, let's walk around the house. Tell me about the different things that you're wanting to point out in this particular house.
Scott, this is the great room. And, typically the great room is near to the other places that you're going to gather in the home. Oftentimes you'll see a dramatic fireplace like this in your great room, big windows. We try to incorporate the views. If your lot has some special views that you really like, or you want to make sure that you can see, we'll try to incorporate those views in your great room so that everybody can enjoy them that comes over to your home and visits. This particular fireplace is surrounded by a limestone mantle. This is actually plaster, kind of like
that mantle's pretty much about 5 feet tall. I mean, you're about what, 6 foot, 6'1"?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty
good day, maybe.
What's that?
6'1", maybe on a good day.
On a good day?
With shoes I'm wearing.
Good shoes. Yeah. All right, what were you saying about the plaster?
So this is plaster. This is limestone. Mm-hmm. And plaster's, a nice little upgrade that you can do to kind of, set off your area around your fireplace. We'll see this oftentimes, plaster here, and this is a drywall finish here. This is a smooth drywall. You can see where the TV's gonna go. We're this day and age, we recess that so the TV can sit nice and flat against the wall, and you can't see it now because it's covered up from the masking, but all of your components go back there, your wires, everything, so there's nothing dangling, and all you have is your nice, beautiful picture. And we'll most likely put one of the new TVs with the picture frame, the like art. Yeah. When the TV's off, it actually isn't off. It shows like a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah, awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So obviously you work with a lot of high-end clients, building and moving into these beautiful homes. What's your experience working with this type of clientele? It's so different than what the average builder gets to experience.
This type of clientele, they vary greatly, but one thing that most of these types of clients have in common is they're all very accomplished, sophisticated people in most cases, and they have higher expectations. Uh-huh. They have more sophisticated taste. They are going to expect you to perform a lot like they're expected to perform in whatever profession they're in. And so you have to be on your toes. You have to do what you say you're going to do. Communication is key.
So when I drove up to this house, one of my favorite things about the front elevation of the home is this set of windows that kind of covers the front of this family room and leads right into the kitchen. This is like a really cool design trend right now. I think this looks really cool from the front of the house. So you're gonna almost act like you're touring the house, but then we're gonna talk about details.
So one thing I really like about this design is we have these transoms here, and they have the really neat leaded glass above the opening. And this leads over to the piano room. And this design here was inspired by their children who all play piano, and what they wanted was a big enough space where they could have like a mini piano recital without everyone having to sort of invade the rest of the home. So you can see this is quite big here. There's enough room for people to sit, enjoy listening to their kids play piano, or their friends and family, and that's really what inspired this room. And you can see the great floor ceiling windows here. This is something that I really love to incorporate into homes. Again, we've carried this solid sand and finish walnut.
This sand and finish hardwood floors are my favorite. I love engineered floors, but there's nothing better than an awesome sand and finish walnut floor. I actually installed sand and finish walnut floors in my home in Harriman when I built it in 2008, and that was the hot trend now. And look, today it's still as hot as ever, just maybe not as distressed and hand scraped like it used to be. But this is my favorite floor.
Yeah, we carry this throughout the whole area. There's no interruptions with the floors. It creates a nice flow between rooms. Whenever we do have a difference in floor covering, we try to do it at an opening or something like this, like you can see here in this hallway.
Holy cow, what is this space back here? Is that the laundry?
Yeah, in fact, this dictated the size of the home pretty dramatically because the client wanted to make sure that they had their craft room on the main level. And whatever you do, if you build here in Utah, you're most likely gonna have a basement. So whatever you do on the main level is mirrored down below in most cases. So it really drives the overall size of the home.
And above as well, the roof lines and everything else.
Absolutely. Yeah, she wanted this. She's a quilter, so she wanted to make sure she had a lot of room in here so she could do her quilting and all the other activities that she does. She started very creative.
I am not a quilter, But this has got to be the best quilting room. This is amazing.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. There's a 4 outlet in here so that she doesn't have to plug in and step over cords and things like that and then we have these awesome pocket doors.
Ooh.
And these are soft close pocket doors.
Okay, so these are the details that when I'm talking about the average home versus a really luxury home, you do see pocket doors, you do see barn style doors, but this is actually a soft closing pocket door that I don't think I've ever seen in a normal price point of a home, like $1 million home or less. I don't think I've ever seen that. Joel, you know this house a lot better than I do, and you know the work that's taken place to not just build it, but to plan it. Go for it.
Planning is essential to have a successful schedule, a successful build, be able to keep your clients on budget. You know, the really good subcontractors are not just readily available. They have to know oftentimes years in advance, or at least, 12 months in advance in most cases. If they're going to be working on your project, you have to have a lot of the details already figured out. You most certainly have to have your selections figured out well before those subcontractors are here. There's ordering that needs to happen. Oftentimes, the components of the home take a long time to get. So, having all that stuff planned out in the very beginning really helps. Not every client is able to plan things out from the very beginning, but the more of that you can plan out before you ever break ground, the more successful your project will be.
Case in point, this millwork in this house is unbelievable. It's super thick. You can tell this is custom millwork. You can't go hire a finished carpenter with a crew of 3 or 4 guys and actually get this project done in time. You actually have to have a company that can not only meet the level of quality that you're looking for, but do it in a timely manner to get the house done.
That's absolutely correct. And it's really hard to find really good finished carpentry crews that have multiple capable carpenters.
That's hard.
Yeah, and the bigger the home, the more difficult it is to get it done quickly. And so a lot of times we have to phase these guys in, but and sometimes there's subcontractor overlap and things like that in order to stay on schedule, but it's so important to stay on schedule with these projects. This particular finished carpenter, we have a lot of different guys that we use, but this particular finished carpenter we've been working with for years. I think we've had a relationship with them for the better part of 20 years.
That's amazing. Okay. I mean, that's like that's the most difficult part about building, in my opinion, is finding good quality subcontractors that you can build a relationship with long-term.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust involved. The really good subcontractors have been through it. They know what the red flags are with builders who are not organized. And a builder can have the best of intentions, but if they're not organized, it can cost their subcontractors money and time. And it's really important to be ready for them, not only for your client's sake, but for their sake as well, because we're all part of a big team here, and we're all trying to finish a project on time, especially for a project like this where it's going to be in the Parade of Homes.
So do you guys always do a Parade of Homes home down here in Utah County every year?
We have done a Parade of Homes, I believe, 17 years in a row here in Utah Valley.
Because I can't remember the last time I didn't see a Davies home in the parade. In fact, I think I've seen Parade homes up in Salt Lake County as well.
We have, yeah. Okay. We've done Salt Lake County multiple times, or the Salt Lake City. I forget the exact name.
The Salt Lake area Parade of Homes.
That's what it is.
And I think that it was a Davies home up in I think it was Federal Heights. That was a renovation. It was an existing home that's kind of more of a historical home. I remember going through that. I'm almost positive that was like 5-6 years ago, but it was a really cool home as well. So
that was the COVID year. That was 2020. So you're right on.
It was. Yeah, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was in Federal Heights. It was a historic neighborhood.
Yes.
There were a lot of hoops to jump through for that neighborhood. Everybody in that neighborhood gets to have an opinion about how your home looks.
That home was owned by a relevant figure here in Utah as well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, with the LDS church.
With the existing fireplaces or mantles, I can't remember, but there were some cool elements that you preserved in that home as well, which is really cool because in new construction, you don't see as much of that, but in the old parts of Salt Lake City, it's kind of cool to see that you guys actually did that. When I think of Utah Valley Parade of Homes, I think it's a far superior Parade of Homes than Salt Lake County, number one, and you have a different caliber building or builder working down here in the parade, and the homes are just better. And so when I think of the Utah Valley Parade of Homes, I think of Davies and other builders that are building homes just like this.
Utah Valley Parade of Homes has been rated the #1 parade of homes in the United States. We have people come from all over the world to come to this parade of homes. There are really great homes in all of the parades. Salt Lake is no exception to that, but you're correct. There's a higher concentration of higher quality, larger homes in the Utah Valley Parade of Homes. It would seem year over year. So one of the things that we really like to do in our homes is we like to have a shower that does not have a curb on it. We don't have any transitions into the home. Everything's smooth. It was a plan for the future. They want to make sure that they can get in and out of the house without any stairs or any trouble, possibly even out a wheelchair. The home also has an elevator in it. But like this shower here, no transition into the shower. That way you could wheel a wheelchair in here if you need to. We do that no matter what, whether they're trying to have accessibility. We like that the mold and mildew does tend to build up on those curb walls, and so we've decided to eliminate them. And with a little planning, it doesn't cost any more to do it this way versus building in a curb wall.
Yeah, you just got to plan for that recess in the shower pan to actually go down. So we're going to show that, but that's just one of those little details that a lot of the cookie cutter houses or builders, so to speak, just do not take into account. Something else I'm noticing, I'm going to just point things out as I notice them in a house. These doors, they're solid core. These are thicker, I think, as well, aren't they?
These doors are 1 3/4 inch thick.
Okay, because I feel that it's different.
A lot of the doors you'll see, even in the Utah Valley Parade of Homes, are 1 3/8 thick. These are 1 3/4 thick.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference when you're talking about sound, when you're talking about longevity. It really is a much more luxurious
It's kind of that experience of it's tangible. It's something you put your hands on when you put your hand on that doorknob and you feel the weight of that door and the way that it sounds and feels when you close it. It's just like getting into a luxury car. It sounds and feels different.
Yeah, it's a little bit heavier, a little more substantial, definitely cuts down on sound, like I was saying. And it's just a little more luxurious.
All right, so we're in the master closet.
Yes, on the primary closet.
And you've got a stackable washer dryer in here. They've chose to do this really light colored carpet, which is scary when you're under construction. Sometimes I walk into these closets and I think they're dark, but this has 3 giant windows, which is really cool as long as you're not showing off to your neighbors. Unless that's your thing, if that's what you're going for, hey, enjoy the show.
Yeah. The windows are very purposeful in letting light in. They'll all have shades over them, so they'll have their privacy. But really, one of the main things we're doing, you'll see this a lot in all the Parade of Homes, is the washer dryer in the walk-in closet, in the primary closet. It's very convenient. You don't have to do big loads of laundry, but it just kind of keeps things going. You don't have to travel very far or carry your clothes around. So it's quite nice for that reason. Do you think people care about the way the air conditioning works and things like that? I think it's important to know.
100%.
I've just got
the bones of that, not just the cosmetics, the bones, like everything like that. Absolutely. All right, so what can you tell me about energy efficiency, specifically the HVAC unit here?
In all the homes that we build, it's really, really important to be energy efficient. If you've ever been in kind of an older home or maybe a tract home, you'll notice that in some rooms it's warmer or cooler than other rooms, even though you have the temperature set to whatever your desired temperature is. And so we've really paid a lot of attention to making sure that doesn't happen in our homes. So all of our homes are highly efficient. They also have zone dampers. So I can have a thermostat in 16 different places in this home and control the temperature in any of those areas. And because the system is so sophisticated, it can slow down or speed up the fan and help cool just that room without wasting energy.
That is so cool. I absolutely love that. That's awesome. And energy efficiency is huge, especially as the cost of energy has just skyrocketed and everything's gone up in price, let's be honest, but it's really important for people.
Yeah, in a normal home, this room would most likely get very, very hot.
Yeah,
and if
with all the windows.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're not paying attention to how you're setting up the heating and cooling, you will have a problem with keeping this room the same temperature as the other rooms. But with the way we do it, it's very, very controlled, very, very precise.
And that's where the HVAC contractor comes into play. That's why they go and learn what they have to learn.
We have a phenomenal HVAC contractor.
So there's 3 trades that work in a house that need to be licensed at a level that's kind of above that of the other people. And that's the electrician, the plumber, and the HVAC contractor. And I think a lot of people realize how important a plumber is and why, as well as an electrician for safety purposes, but I think a lot of people overlook how important the HVAC contractor is, and what he's describing here is exactly that reason why. Making those proper calculations and designing a system that's going to work for the home long term, because let's be honest, you're going to do it once when you build the home and never do it again. So it has to be done right the first time.
Yeah, Scott, you're absolutely right. HVAC gets overlooked a lot, especially in this valley, in this industry. And
it's almost a commoditized trade in terms of call the company that you see on the truck to come service your unit when it's dying or it's dead. And they're going to come to your home and sell you on an upgrade or an install of some sort. And people don't really put much more thought into it beyond that.
They really don't. And there's so much to it, whether you're talking about humidification, dehumidification, like we talked about earlier with the zone dampers controlling the air in certain rooms. I mean, if let's say you have a guest staying with you and they get a little bit cold, they're going to want to be able to have, you don't want to cook the rest of the house, but you want to be able to keep them comfortable. With the systems that we put in, you can do that very easily.
Do you guys ever do heat pumps on any of your installs?
We do.
Okay, because that's something that fascinates me. And what that is that you can actually heat a home until it gets down to about 40 degrees or colder. You can actually keep the temperature in a home at a more comfortable rate at a much lower cost of energy as well.
Yeah, heat pumps can be very efficient.
And they kind of look just like a condenser for an air conditioning unit on the outside of the house, but you can really tell the difference because they kind of stand off the ground a little bit, but they're fascinating to me. I think they're awesome.
Yeah, we work with heat pumps quite a bit. I would say the majority of the time we use traditional forced air gas furnaces.
Yeah.
We also use radiant heat quite a bit, which involves a boiler and sometimes a heat pump. There's a pool bath back here. The other garage.
Okay.
Laundry room.
Marble floors. So this is the pool bath.
That's the pool bath.
Awesome.
We have the laundry room here and the pool bath on that side.
So here you have the pool bathroom, which is accessible right out this door, the back of the house where the pool sits just outside here, and the pool laundry space right next to that here. So here we have a true butler's pantry. This thing is huge. It's got a full-size refrigerator, a microwave, a ton of counter space. This thing has probably more counter space than most people in their average size home. So this is pretty cool. It has pretty much everything in here that a regular kitchen would, other than maybe a range to cook on.
Yeah, this is where the mess can happen and you don't have to worry so much about it if you have guests. I don't know if you noticed the window here, it lets a ton of natural light in here. We like to have natural light in our homes whenever possible. Even though we're not necessarily doing the architecture, we're involved in every step of the process, making sure that those types of things get incorporated into the build. I'm sure you can see this great leaded glass window, again, adding more natural light to the butler's pantry, but it's also beautiful.
Okay, so obviously, Joe, this home is under construction, but in a few weeks when we come back here, this thing's going to be completed. It's going to be beautiful. I'm really excited to see the finished product, and this is the dining space that sits right next to the kitchen, the family room as well.
Dining room here, floor to ceiling windows. You have the cove ceiling. It's kind of hard to see in here right now. The beautiful light fixture. Again, tons of natural light. What's really nice about this dining room too are the sight lines. As you approach this dining room from the great room, the pool is centered on this beautiful, great big window, and it just has a really great feel to it. So when you come back for the parade, it'll be fully furnished. You'll have these beautiful views out the back window.
So how many hours do you spend working with clients, like on a house like this? Are you the one that engages with the client and has a lot of conversations with them?
I am. I work with the client through the entire concept process. We work with the clients concept to completion.
Right.
What I do for the clients is not only do I introduce them to Davies, see if it's a good fit, get to know them, I also help them design their homes. So I'm with them every step of the way as we go through this design process. I'm not there to tell people how to design their home. I'm there to just kind of be their guardian angel, make sure they know about the other cool ideas that a lot of our other clients have had. And also I'm there to help value engineer the home to make sure we're not spending money where we don't
have to. But you pointed out something really cool. When you guys build homes like this on the regular, you've done things for so many different clients that are going to bring ideas to the table that another builder that hasn't, you know, logged the experience or the portfolio behind them that you have, it's going to offer something of value to your new clients as well.
That's absolutely true. You know, and since we're talking about that, I really think that it's important to point out what drives every decision that we make. It's really about what is in the best interest of our clients.
Right.
So whether it's an idea about something that we've done in the past, or whether it's just about looking out for their best interests, looking out for their pocketbook, you know, that carries through in every decision that we make.
Whether you're looking for luxury real estate like this or anything in between, I love showing these types of videos and this type of content to make sure that you're getting served exactly what it is you're looking for. So stay tuned on my channel right here on YouTube for more videos like this. So hit that like button if you like this video, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and until the next time, thanks guys.